Hey everyone, it's Tyler Strike from Universal Rackets, and this is going to be an amazing video because if you watch this video, you are going to pop up 50% less dinks at the kitchen. Once again, if you watch this whole video, you will pop up half the amount of balls to your opponents while you're up at the kitchen. We are going to be going over our top tricks and our top tricks for you to never pop the ball up to your opponents again. We're going to be teaching you why you pop the ball up to your opponents and how to not do it, how to angle, how to take the balls earlier, how to get the ball lower to your opponents so they can't smash the ball at you and so you can win more points. So make sure to stay tuned. So the number one thing that I want you to think, if you ever pop the ball up at your opponent, I want you to think, are you holding the paddle loose or are you holding the paddle tight? 9 times out of 10, a lot of players struggle with dinking the ball in the kitchen, keeping the ball low at the kitchen because they grip the paddle too tight. And if you grip the paddle too tight, it is not going to be right. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being a death grip, 1 being super loose, I want you to be a 1 or a 2. The looser you can be, the lower your ball's going to go, and the lower your opponent is going to make contact with the ball. So that is tip number 1. I want you to hold the paddle looser than you already are. Now, we can't all be a 1, a 2, or a 3, but if you're 10, I want you to be a 9. If you're 7, I want you to be a 5. A little bit goes a long way. Now, the second reason why, if you feel like you continually pop the ball up to your opponents too many times, I want you to think, are you trying to get the ball in? Now, it's counterintuitive. In pickleball, to gain control, you have to give up control. The more you let the paddle work for you and the less you work for the paddle, the better you will be and you will achieve consistency. And what I mean by that is players, they try to get the ball in. They're thinking so much, they see the person across from them. Oh, I don't want to pop it up. I don't want to pop it up, so I'm going to baby it. And then what happens? They end up popping it up and they end up smashing it down, okay? You need to think to not think. Less is more. You need to trust yourself, okay? So the thing is, don't just try to get it in. By going for it, by holding the paddle loose, by letting your paddle go, it's actually going to allow you to keep your dinks lower. And again, you're going to pop your ball up half the amount that you usually do. So don't have that mentality of just trying to get that ball in. Let your paddle go. When I dink, I'm letting my paddle go. I'm not keeping it short. I am fully doing my swing, okay? So again, for the forehand dink, I'm not stopping at contact. I am extending and letting the paddle go. For the backhand, I'm extending and letting the paddle go, okay? I want you to think, this is our next tip, it is a push, it's not a swing, okay? When I dink, if I want to keep the ball low, many players, they do a big swing. All I'm going is from point A to point B, from point A to point B. This is the dinking motion. So if you can think that you're pushing your dinks forward rather than hitting them, it's going to completely transform your game and it's going to allow you to pop up 50% less dinks. So again, think of it as a push, not a hit, and it's going to go well. Now the next thing, many players, they use their wrists. They think that they're flipping burgers or they're at Ratatouille, okay? We're not sauteing, okay? We are extending through our target, okay? We're pushing, we're extending. All of the power, all of the dink, all of the motion, it comes from our arm and our shoulder. It does not come for our wrist. A lot of players beginning, they end up popping the ball up too high. They can't keep the ball in the kitchen because they're using their wrist. Again, Gordon Ramsay, get out of here, okay? We are extending through our arm and our shoulder. Our arm and our shoulder does the work, not our wrist. And again, we will be able to pop up way less pickleballs. So don't use your wrist. Don't go like this, go like this. Through the arm and the shoulder again, not through the wrist. Now, if you are working on these tips, if you're going through all these tips, you automatically are popping up 50% less pickleballs. However, we're gonna make it even 75% less right now, okay? So I want you to think, the lower you let the ball go to you, the more up you have to hit. If I have a ball that's super high above the net, I can swing down. If I have a ball that's at the net, I have to swing up a little bit. If I have a ball that's super low, what do I have to do? I have to what? In order to make it over net, I have to hit the ball up. The lower I hit the ball up, the lower or the more inclined that makes me to what? Pop the ball up. That's why you want to keep your opponents deep. That's why you want to dink your opponents back. So the lower you get your opponents, the more they can pop the ball up. So what you're going to do is instead of letting the ball get super low to you here and having to pop the ball up, you're going to extend, lean over the kitchen and take it out of the air. Out here versus in here is death and life. Life or death. If I can make the ball more contact out in front, I'm going to intercept the ball at a higher point than I would if it lets the ball get close to me. Not only am I taking it as a higher point, but the reason why players pop the ball up is not only because the ball is low, but because they get jammed. So if you ever have a deep dink that comes to you and you can't take the ball out of the air, here's something, you guys are going to kill me for it, but try it again. We're working on not popping up every single ball, okay? Again, you don't always want to do this, okay? So save the comments, save the comments, save the comments. But if you don't want to pop the ball up, if you want to pop it up 75% less, if you ever feel like, oh, wait, I couldn't take it out of the air, I let it bounce, watch what I'm going to do. Instead of getting jammed here and going, that was a good one, but I got super lucky. Watch what I'm going to do. I am not making my point right now, but seriously, try this, right? If I feel like I'm eating the ball, I'm going to take a step back and then I am going to go. Again, if I ever feel like I can't take it out of air, I got caught, I'm eating the ball, watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a step back and then I'm going to go. That's going to allow me to get more time. By taking a step back, that's going to allow me to get more in front, because the two main reasons why a person pops the ball up is because they're jammed and because the ball is super low. So that allows you to unjam yourself. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, and this is going to stop your opponents from going around and earning you as well, is if you ever feel like you're going to pop the ball up, if you ever feel like you are in trouble, you are going to go cross court. Once again, if your opponent ever hits an offensive dink, if you ever feel defensive, you are going to take the ball cross court. The longest distance between 2 points is diagonal. If you want to pop the ball up half the amount of times, if you want to pop the ball up even more than half, what you're going to do is, if you ever feel like you're jammed, if you ever don't want to pop the ball up, you're going to go diagonal. If you're a player who pops your dinks up over and over and over again and you're holding it loose, you're doing all the tips I first told you, try to take your balls cross court. By going straight ahead, there's less distance to cover. The more angle I have, the more distance I have for the ball to actually die down. So if you can take every single one of your balls cross court, it's going to completely change your game. It's going to allow you to not, pop the ball up in the air. Also, not only taking every ball across court, but intentionally, if I ever feel like I'm burned, right? If my opponent ever pressures me, watch what I'm going to do. If I'm ever hurt, and what I mean by that is I'm in a really bad position or I get caught up, which everyone's going to be, then all I'm going to do is just block the ball back cross court. Again, if I'm ever in a really bad position, instead of going down the line, all I'm going to do is just go cross court and continue the point. The goal of dinking, and this is the next thing I want to leave you with, is patience. You need to be as patient as possible. Watch any type of pro pickleball. Look how much they dink while they're at the kitchen. Dinking, dinking, dinking. Yes, everyone can speed the ball up. Everyone can do all this amazing stuff, but they're so patient and they're watching for the right opportunity. If you want to pop less balls up, I need you to be patient. I need you to understand that less is more. I want you to hit one more dink than your opponent. When you're getting in a dinking rally, I want you to think, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. Not, oh, no, oh, I don't need to pop it up, right? So be in the position, work on drilling of just being able to sit here. When I dink, and it really helps me, is I think that I'm indestructible. And this took a lot of drilling, this took a lot of time, this took a lot of effort. But I think that I can sit here for hours and hours and hours. I'm not going to miss, okay? Even if you don't feel like that, I'm probably not like that to a certain extent, or I'd be playing pro pickleball and not coaching on YouTube, right? But the thing is that's my mentality, so it's going to allow me to just relax and go and go and go. Don't think about what not to do, okay? If you think about popping the ball up, you're going to pop the ball up. If you're panicking here because you feel like you're not good at dinking rallies, you're going to end up messing up and popping the ball up in the air. So again, think, when you get to the kitchen and you get into a dinking rally, you think, I can go all day, I can go, I can go, I can go, I can go over and over and over again. I could be here all night going like this, because that's easy. By doing that mentally, by implementing all these tips into your game, you will pop the ball up 50% less, 75% less. You'll create more opportunities. You'll force yourself to hit a higher ball. You'll force your opponents to hit lower balls. You're going to beat bangers. You're not going to have people smash the ball up at you as much, and you're going to win more points. Now, if I helped you improve your game, make sure to subscribe, share with a friend, follow me on Instagram, subscribe to our newsletter. If you want any type of program near you, you want our pros to come out to you, fundraiser event, corporate event, you guys want overall clinics, whatever you guys want, make sure to click the link in the description. Universal Rackets representative will get out to you shortly. Have a good one. Happy hitting. Make sure to do these tips. pop up less dinks. Let me know if you hit half less dinks up in the net or up in the air, and you're going to be so much better on court. Have a good one, happy hitting, and I will see you guys next time on court.